Up if I turn my headset on. It'll make it better. Headset should be on now. We'll roll with it. We'll see if it's going to work. I think it's just on my end, OBS. I can't tell. I can't tell if it's jumpy on my end or if it's jumpy on when I move the panel around. I notice on OBS it's super jumpy. Trying to see if it's actually coming through just on my OBS jumpy. Trying to move around and see if it's... I think it's coming through in the stream good. I think it's just my return. That's okay. We'll press. VR Aviator. It is a checklist simulator, but for a space nerd like me, I freaking love it. Have you played the game? And it is a VR game too. I just don't play it in VR because there's certain things I need that aren't implemented in VR. I hope the stream's coming through nice. I'm trying to figure out. My view of my own stream is coming through choppy, but I think it's going through smooth to out to the masses. I can't tell. All right, they don't give me much time on this. 30 minutes away from the scheduled trans-Earth injection burn. So we're going to prepare the spacecraft and prepare the burn, and all in 30 minutes, which is not a lot of time. We're going to open the TEI Trans-Earth Injection Planner and use the C menu to set up the burn that will bring us onto an escape velocity from the moon and target a perigee of 3464 miles, or 20 to 23 nautical miles above the Earth. So if we do all that right, we'll go back to the Earth and we will cross the Earth at 20 to 23 miles, which is in Earth's atmosphere, or inside of Earth interface. We'll start with the, let's see, let's take a look at the orbital. Of course, it's not going to let me do anything while it's paused. That's all right. We don't need to look at that right now. What we need to do is bring the TEI planner, unpause. There we go, TEI planner's up, pause. And we want to be on orbital view, unpaused, moon. That's our current orbit. TEI planner. It's telling me roughly from where I'm at a 1.099246 in the next orbit. That's it's going to happen soon here. 30 minutes. We got a lot to do. We're looking at a periapsis of 23.7 miles. So let's see if we can change this by a fraction here. Let's go to 250. That's 22. Let's go 245. It's 23.98. 255. That puts us kind of in the heart. Should give us 21.75 nautical miles above the Earth. I had this game for a long time before I jumped in and really played it. And I started working kind of hard on Mercury. And then Mercury got boring. And as soon as I got into Gemini, it picked up and got a lot more fun. Time of ignition is 73 hours, 27 minutes, and 47 seconds. That's soon. With a delta V of 2,961.961 feet per second change. Perigee of 3464 nautical miles, which is out where we're at. Or not, sorry. A 6.5 degree entry. We're satisfied. Press request. Next up is the P30. Well, if you're going to give me... Why did you not give me data? I clicked request. Should have sent me data. There's a lot of stuff I need to get done here. And I'm waiting for them to send me pause. List map. Let's slide this out of the way. I'm waiting for the P30 burn data, but they're not sending that right now. It's telling me to run P30. Yeah, great. You should be sending me P30 data. But it's not sending me that, so I can't copy it down. Which, in that case, we're just going to... I'll wing it for a minute. I'll just run... I'll run everything I need to run, and we'll just see if I get it right or not. Because I expect them to send me a chunk of data that I put down on a piece of paper, the P30 burn planner, and then I use that chunk of data to determine that my burn is going to be right. I need gimbal angles for the motor. I need attitudes for the rocket upon burn. And it sent all that to my computer. It's in there, but they should be sending it to me in a message so that I can validate it all. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the digital autopilot checklist. we're going to run P30 data, see what it says, even though it doesn't give me everything in there. Like, again, gimbal angles aren't in there. We'll just see if it works. First thing I want to do is set up my DAP data load autopilot. So we're going to run code 48. And I can tell that's not right already. 11111, no. Alright, so let's change the first register. We are 1 command service module only. Maybe you do want 111. No. I don't need that. I can just use, we're going to go 0, 1. We're going to use just the BDs for x-axis. Actually, you know what? Let's do 1, 1. That's going to give us a 0.2 degree per second, or a 0.5 degree hold. And we know that zeros are wrong on register 2, because we need to use, so we're going to go 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's one register for roll quads, and then all quads for other axes. And we need to request spacecraft weight. So we are changing register 1 to 43,000 and 59 pounds. At least now the digital autopilot is set up correctly. So there's a good start. Now let's run program 30. 73, 27, 47 is when they said the engine start's going to be. You're just popping up with messages that don't fit in. Just give me the paperwork that you've done in the past. That will work. We're not on noun 42 yet. We're verifying noun 43, which says 73, 27, 47. So the time of burn is correct. Proceed. 29,583 feet per second, I think is what that now 81 is telling me. I could run the program 30 checklist and know that. Because I don't know. Without it giving me the paperwork, I'm kind of like a little lost here. Give me the paperwork. Now 81, delta V and X axis in feet per second. Cool. Proceed. Noun 42, which now it's telling me. Noun 42 is going to show our height at apogee and height at perigee. Register 2, height at perigee, current perigee 59.8. That's how high I am above the moon right now. Sure. Target apogee should be negative, indicating a parabolic orbit. Okay, it is a negative. Cool. We'll align the IMUs after I do the program 30 data. Yeah, this lit training lesson is not following along in the steps that you expect it to. We're gonna accept. See, now that's what I needed. I needed to know how long until I have countdown. We're gonna go 9 minutes because I want a countdown. This is like extremely short. They did not give me any time here. Right, at least I have a counter that matches, because I still have to do, I have to align. There's no way I can maneuver this spaceship into that. You guys are out of your mind. 30 minutes to jump in and run all this. No way. All right, proceed. Out of that, verb 37, program 52, enter. Verb 22, enter. 1, enter. Arrest map, proceed. Proceed. I still have to do verb 48 as well. Crew define maneuver. No, wrong one. For 49, predefined maneuver. There's no way in 8 minutes I'm going to be able to maneuver the rocket to the appropriate attitude. We're going to see if it'll get done. I should have, when I calculated my burn, given myself at least another orbit around the moon before I executed the burn. Which is fine. We can still do that because I don't have to turn the engine on. If I'm not ready, I can always request new burn data, and then I think I can. I should be able. Can't remember if there's a reset on here or not. There's request, but there's not a reset. I can re-request the data, rerun the data for one orbit from now. Because then we need to run program 40. That's on, that's on, that's on. We'll test the caution warning lamps now just to get that out of the way. Warning lamps 1 work, warning lamps 2 work. We're doing program 30's done. Maneuvering is happening right now. And we really kick in at 10 minutes to burn is when we start running more checklists. And 5 minutes to burn. So, but I don't have any confidence that we're going to be in the correct attitude in time for burn in 7 minutes. I think we're going to have to shit can. That's the problem. I don't think it lets me redo the burn once I request it. So if I do 5-0, that's one of the issues with the game is I don't think I can redo the burn. I should be able to. I'd easily be able to talk to Houston and be like, hey, we need another orbit. But I don't think in the game, once I request an injection burn, I don't think the burn planner can be reset. And obviously, giving me 30 minutes to do everything, including maneuver the spacecraft, let alone what I would do in real life, which is additionally align the IMUs off the stars, right? There's a lot that would go into this. This training mission's like, hey, you have 30 minutes. You better get ready. That is not happening. So what we're going to do is reload the mission since I'm barely into it. And we're going to go to our orbital moon. Request trans-Earth injection. What we're going to do, we're going to use the numbers it tells me, which transcript here, it was giving me a velocity of 1.099255 is what I ran. We'll start with that. And what we're going to do now is tell it we want to do it on next passing one more orbit. And of course, all these numbers are going to change. So let's go back to 1.1. 1.1 gives us 425. If I go all the way to 1.2, I think it's going to be too much. Yep. 1.15. 1.105. No. 0.5. That's counting us down a little bit. Let's go another 5. No, let's go 0.009. That's 217. 99. 5. 99. Now we're only taking small cuts. 101. 102. That's it's going to be a 101 number. 1019. That's too much. 1015. That's 82. 1017. That's 37. If I go 8, it's probably negative. Nope, too low. 1017. 5, 26, 10176, 24, 77, 22. So the target velocity fraction is 1.10177 if we do it in one more orbit. So let's request that data. And that should buy us, we got 80 minutes till burn. That's more. That's better. Now we have some time to prep. 75 hours. Yes. 26 minutes and 42 seconds. So we're going to... See, I should have on paper. They should give me this data. 2980958. I'll at least write this down somewhere. So 75, 26 minutes, and 42 seconds is when we'll burn into the mission with a delta V of 2,980.958. Let's call it 96. Now we can start setting the rocket up. First thing I want to do, let's get to about an hour prior. 7526 is... So we want to go to 7426. So let's just reset our clock here. Stop the clock, reset, countdown from 59 minutes and 50... Oh, too many clicks. 9 minutes and 59 seconds. We're going to position ourselves where we can see the clocks and the switch. And we're going to timestamp forward to 74 hours and 26 minutes. Going to go to 74, 26, 42. All right, we're coming up on that. At least gives us an hour timer. 41, 42, start. All right, we now have at least an hour timer here until we get where we need to go. All right, now. Verb 48, digital autopilot load. Register 1 was... Let's double check the register. Digital autopilot setup. Data load. We are 1 command service module. 1 quad, 2 quads, 0 deadband at 0.2 degrees per second. Register 2 was 0111. Proceed, request wake data, verb 21, enter, plus 43,059 pounds. Autopilot is now programmed. Who are you, VR Aviator? You have a different name on here than on our Discord. I didn't know you were... If you don't say, and if you have a different name, I wouldn't know. Alright. Program 30. Data verification. External delta V. 75, 26, 42 matches. Yeah, got it. Stop talking to me. Stop. Shut up. You're not helping. Houston is really bad right now. That's our engine start time. That's our apogee, perigee. That checks. We have 58 minutes and 3, 2, 1. So I'm 1 second early on my clock here, but it matches the countdown on the computer. So I'm confident the countdown is right. We're done with that program. We're going to run program 52. Of course, I don't know what stars to align because it's not telling me what stars to align, so that would be cool too. It should give me a whole, like every other burn, they've given me a whole list of papers. Oh, Stick, what's up, man? I'm really disappointed that it's not giving me all the data. Like, this is not as good of a training mission as the other ones, or campaign mission. We're going to run program option 1, proceed. Those are our gimbal angles. We're going to retorque the IMU to the correct angles for ignition. We're going to hit program. Our IMU is now set up. We need to align our GDC to our IMU by holding this button. 2 different computers running on 2 different systems, now both aligned. Now, already done. Yeah, done. Shut up. Leave me alone, guys. I'm not on program 40 yet. We need to run verb 49 and crew define maneuver. Spacecraft in auto. Proceed. Proceed. All right, now the spacecraft is maneuvering to the appropriate burn attitude. And when that is done, I'll run program 40 and we'll start getting ready to fire the engine. Kind of a joke here because normally they give me this huge paper, they give me all this data on what is called the P30 burn planning, and I fill all this paperwork out and it contains all the information I need to program the spacecraft to do a spacecraft propulsion system burn, an SPS burn. And it includes all kinds of really cool things like gimbal angles for the motors, because you can't just fire the rocket engine that's under the bottom of the rocket, because if it's not angled directly into the center of gravity, as you accelerate forward, it could twist the rocket at an angle. And so part of the burn is to calculate the center of gravity of the spaceship and then take the bell of the engine, which is on gimbals, and you angle it a certain degree in pitch and yaw so that the thrust is through the center of gravity of the rocket so that it fires in a straight line. None of that stuff is being presented to me on this mission. So I don't have gimbal angles. Maybe there's a way I can request pads and charts. Let me see if I can get that data. I don't want to open, I want to request. See, they give me a request entry pad. Don't need that right now. We're not circulating. We don't need a pad U52 realign. This just opens the pads. No, the way I get that is by requesting a burn from the TEI burn planner, which I did. If I click it again, they're just giving me the basic info. They're not sending me all the data I need. Alright, well, in any case, we can run program 40 thrusting and hope hope that I get enough of it right. Alright, CMC's on, ISS is on, SES is on. We'll test the caution and warning lamps. Lamp test. Checks, none of them are burned out. Checks, none of them are burned out. DAP load and activate is done. Pre-thrust programming P30 is done. P49 maneuver to attitude is in progress right now. Vehicle prep. Delta V, set up the Delta V. Well, then let's set up the delta V. So we're going to go delta V set, and we're going to put in our change in velocity, 2,980.96. Can't really do 9.6. We'll just do 0.9. Set that to delta V. Our delta V EMS is set up. Then we're going to run program 40, but not until the program 40, or the verb 49 automover is done. And I guess we'll just fire it with the engine pointed straight ahead at 0, 0, because we have no gimbal angles. I'd love to get the Reentry dev on the podcast, but the podcast is DCS-centric. Although we have been talking about expanding additional content outside of DCS. Kind of like the Scud's Flying Freak Show videos aren't DCS related, they're just aviation related. So, I would love to talk to this guy, considering that it's one guy who has made all of this. Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, LEM, Lunar Rover, all the systems, all the malfunctions, Mercury Command and Control Center, Apollo Houston Command and Control Center, with all of those things functioning. And then added in historical missions like the Apollo 13 mission. You fly through that step by step, and every time switches are flipped, he's added in the actual voices of the Apollo 13 astronauts and Houston. So you'll hear Houston ask you for something, and then you'll flip a switch and hear Jim Lovell reading the switch back. This one guy has put an immense amount of work into this. Alright, we're waiting for verb 50 on here to flash. Once it does, we'll proceed one more time for just to fine-tune the alignment. We're aligned in pitch and roll, or in yaw and roll, but not in pitch yet. So she should be slowly pitching over. Of course, I can also, say my rotational hand controller is on direct, I can also augment the system by hand. It burns more gas. But I can expedite. Here comes the needle. So I can expedite the maneuver here just to get us in position a little quicker. We have plenty of time now, 49 minutes. Alright, verb 50 is flashing, proceed one more time. We're going to go back to verb 50. That's done. Enter, that's done. Now we'll run program 40, which is the SPS burn program. Now it's asking 50 again with 0 on the gimbal angles, which is the fine tune. So it's going to try to fine tune us. It says we are in correct position. Roll's a little off, but roll doesn't really matter on this. Of course, I don't know what roll and pitch and yaw I should be at because Houston didn't send me anything. They're missing that on this one by a long shot. Alright, one more. Fine-tune burn. Not moving. Back to 50. Enter. We're going to hold on 204. We're going to go to our... I'm trying to run this without any help either. I'm trying to run the checklist all without any helpers here. So both FDIs select to provide red on displays. Got it. Accept BMAG mode 3 rate 2. Rate 2, rate 2, rate 2 times 3. And now we'll proceed. And no, I didn't want to proceed on that. Restart. Program 40. That checks. That checks. Should have the BMAGs on roll rate on rate 2 before I do the final. Okay, now it's flashing. Auto maneuver's done. Now we're on to ignition prep. Now we're going to go down to our... It says 10 minutes. We're going to time scale to like 20 minutes just to give me time to run this without helpers. I don't think I need it. Maybe 15 minutes. So there's 15 minutes. We'll run it 5 minutes early. We're going to go over to our right seat, our lunar module pilot seat. We're going to tie the buses, but first we're going to go main bus AC on up. We're going to go to main bus A, and when we tie the bus AC, we should see amps increase, volts decrease. Checks. We'll go to main bus B, tie that one. Increase, decrease, checks. We'll go back and monitor main bus A. We're going to check our service propulsion system helium valve barber pulled, and the switches are in auto. Our rotational helm control power is direct, both off. Boom, boom. Spacecraft control is in CMC and auto, and our thrust vector control, 2 switches are in rate command. Boom, pitch and yaw, rate command there. B-mags are now going to go at 1 rate 2, wrong switch, at 1 rate 2. Rate low, transmission power controllers, doesn't say, so rate, deadband is min. Gimbal drive 2 to auto, auto on the gimbal drives. Now we're going to do a gimbal trim check. We're going to make sure that our rocket motor moves the way it's supposed to. Pitch and yaw, bat A, close, verify. So we've got pitch A and bat A are closed and verified. Thrust vector control power switch is going to go to 1 to AC main bus A, 2 to AC main bus B. The translation power controller is on and up. Rotational hand controllers are on AC only. And then we'll do the auto switchover check at 5 minutes. So let's time scale down to like 10. Yeah, you don't just point at Earth and light the engines. You don't just light the engines even pointing anywhere. It's very particular. Before this burn, what they would have sent me would have included which rotation they want the spaceship in to align the telescopes to the right stars. And then you go down there and you use the telescopes and the computer that's down there to tighten up the IMU and make sure that this is tight. And then a lot of other things that go into this. So we're going to do our gimbal motor pitch 1, yaw 1 check. Auto switchover check. We're going to put the translation hand controller in clockwise. Ooh, we're missing a switch here. We need to start gimbal. Let's go back to neutral. Start pitch and yaw 1. We're going to go clockwise on the hand controller. We're going to roll or yaw and pitch, and these don't move. That's a good check. Now we're going to start pitch and yaw 2. We're going to set the trim, which we don't have, so what we're going to do is just set the trim to 0. Since they didn't give us trim for the motors. That's centering the pitch and yaw on the motors, and now we'll pitch and yaw, and the gimbals work. And you can see that on the outside if we're in the daylight, which we're not. But you'd see the engine bell moving. Alright, that is verified. The translation hand controller goes to neutral. Rotational hand controllers go back to AC, DC 2. And that check is complete. Now we'll let the computer do its check by clicking proceed. Proceed is going to give me a 618. back to 5018, enter, program 204, proceed, and now the engine is gimbaling. Up, down, left, right. This is the computer controlling it. When it's done, it's probably going to go to some stupid trim value that doesn't make sense, and I'll retrim it. All right, now we're on program 40, 640, 50. We're counting down. Here, right. Proceed, verb, noun, 618, got it. Manual rate, attitude, rate command. Manual attitudes in rate command. Rate is high. BMAGs are at 1, rate 2. They are .40. We're waiting for a 2-minute countdown. Something's jacked up here. This should be reading my time to ignition. And 59:59 means it is maxed out. But we are coming up on our time to ignition. So something didn't go into the computer right here. Something's not right. This mission's pissing me off. Bro. All of these missions have been really well done, but this one, just the fact that it's not giving me the data I need makes me really worried that this mission may be crumped out, which sucks because I have to pass it. We're going to run through that one more time real quick, but we're not going to re-select burn planner because I think that might have been what screwed me up was when I requested it a second time. What a pain in the dick. I should just point it at the earth and light the engine. It's probably easier. What was I doing yesterday? Yesterday was Thursday. You mean Wednesday, right? Oh, you said Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday was... Alright. Seats are off. Orbital... Moon, Earth. That would be a better orbital look. Request TEI 1 next orbit 009 099 5 01 9, nope, 1 1, nope, 109, nope, 1009, 1005, 1007, 8, 9, 1001, 9, 7, 8, 1007, 10177. Puts me right past the Earth at 22 miles above the Earth. All right, let's request it once and not do it again and not F all this up. 752641, so the burn has changed from last time. 752641, 29895. Close to the last time. Verb 49, enter. Wrong one. Program 34. Verb 48, enter. cap data load. Register 1 was 1. Gotta remember. I'm just kind of burning time too. I've got this mission is it's simulating Apollo 8, but I'm doing the trans-Earth injection. So I've got to go from the moon back to the Earth. It's just, like I said, it's confusing because they're not giving me all the data that normally would be given. So we're going to do 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, enter, register 2. Command service module wait is in. Autopilot is set. Now we're going to run program 30. 75, 26, 41 matches the time I just wrote down. Got it. You're not helping me. I don't want it to just say run a program, but like there's data I need to run programs, and it's not giving me that data. All right, well, we're going to timestamp forward to 74, 26, 41. Now let's stop and reset this first. Start, reset, down. 59 minutes and 59 seconds. 74, 26, 41.
Hello, motherfucker.
Is that a follow? Hawk, what's up, dude? 74, 26, 41. Timestamp a little bit further forward. Just tired of running this over and over. 39, 41, click. All right. Now we have a clock here that matches our clock here. We have an hour left until we get there. All right, so now we need to run. Oh, yeah, got it. 34, get off that. Program 52. Option 1. And we're torque the IMU angles. I am around the moon trying to get back to the Earth in an Apollo capsule. Apollo 8 mission. Torque the gimbal angles. Our IMU is now set. Let's look up here and align that one to that one. Now we'll run Bird 49 crew define maneuver. Spacecraft is in auto. 0, 56. Now the rocket's going to maneuver to our burn attitude. And because I'm not terribly concerned with fuel, because it's just a campaign mission. Or, let's see. Service module RCS. We have lots of gas. Should tell me to not burn all my gas, but we're going to go ahead and just expedite this maneuver. By hand flying it a little. Oh, this game is for space nerds like me. That's all it is. All right, let's get program 40 checklist ready. That's on, that's on, that's on. Test the caution of warning lamps. Test. Dapload's done. P30's done. Verb 49 is in progress. We can set up the EMS right now while we're waiting. To 2,980. This thing does, well, it's a complaint about how slow it moves, but I programmed it to move slow. Well, that yaw ran away. I think that yaw ran away because I still need a ton of pitch. Roll's coming back, so let's dampen that out and let it control the rest. Star Citizen is a lot easier than this. There's no combat in this. There is combat in this. You combat yourself. It's all about you not dying. And it is a checklist simulator, that's for damn sure. Alright. Proceed one more time. Fine-tune burn. 50. Enter. That's done. Alright, program 40, which is our burn. Let's get to that. Program 40, program displays 06. So we're going to proceed back to 5018. It means it's done with its burn. Now we're going to put our BMAG switches into rate 2. Proceed. (5018), which means it's lined up where it wants to be. Auto maneuver monitor, those are complete. Back into 15, ignition prep at 10 minutes to burn. Let's get through this and see if the counter is reading correctly. So that's what it did not work last time. Let's get down to like 15 minutes to ignition. No, I didn't start it from a save state. You can fly whole missions and save. This is campaign missions that you have to pass. And it breaks them down into each piece. So I did a launch into Earth orbit, and then I did a translunar injection to the moon, and then I did a lunar orbit injection and stopped at the moon, and then circularized my orbit, and then observed parts of the moon through the windows, and then now I need to come back home. And so each one of those, it starts you at a specific time and says, okay, here's what you need to do. But each one of those gives you maybe just enough time, but it also gives you all the data. And this mission, for some reason, is not giving me all the burn data that it should be. But you can run a mission on your own from launch to the moon to landing rendezvous docking, and all the way back home without going through each step in the campaign. And you can do save states, so you can fly the whole thing. And actually, there's some awards or accolades when you do. All right, we're 15 minutes from burn. Let's run the 10-minute checklist early. Back over here. Main bus A. Tie it up. Watch for volts drop, amp rise. Boom. Main bus B. Tie the bats. That checks. Helium valves are barber pulled and auto. Rotational hand controllers. DC direct power off. Spacecraft controllers and CMC, auto, deadband low, rate high. Thrust vector control, rate 2. Or sorry, rate command, 1, 2. Bmags into at 1, rate 2. Thrust vector gimbal control, 2 of them auto. Pitch and yaw. Circuit breakers for pitch A and yaw A are in. Those lights are way too dim. Here we go. Rotation hand controllers are armed. Translation hand controller power switches up. Servos. Thrust vector control. Main A2. B. We'll do our gimbal motor checks here. Let's get down to 10 minutes. I got through all of this, and then the computer was running an incorrect time for ignition. I think it was something I did. So let's see if I can get this thing to burn. All right. Gimbal motor pitch and yaw 1 are start clockwise on the rotation controller. Yeah, oh. That shouldn't be moving me. Nope, sorry. Rotational hand controllers, AC only, not DC. We'll realign in a minute. I'm drifting though, because I screwed up. So let's turn these on. Let's fix our position. Okay, that's not as bad of a rate. Alright, now roll yaw, pitch. No, this is not Arc Raiders. Was it 2980? I think you're right. It doesn't matter. That's a backup, but you're absolutely right. I put the wrong numbers in. All right, gimbal motors, pitch 2, yaw 2 on. Set the gimbal trims to 0. Now when I yaw, the motor moves, and pitch, the motor moves, and I think I'm in the daylight now, so you can actually see it. Nope, I'm back in the dark again. Doesn't matter. All right, so that works. Let's see, translation and controllers to neutral. We're going to go AC, DC2 on rotational hand controller normal. Bmags are going to go rate 2. We're going to align CMC auto proceed. Let's proceed one more time to get back to 618. We are in thrust attitude. Manual attitude rate command. Rate command on all 3. rate high. At 1, rate 2. Align GDC to IMU. It already is. We'll do it again. Coming up on 2 minutes. Getting late on time here. We're going to enter. Proceed. It's going to do its gimbal motor checks. And then when it's done, it'll pop up to noun 40, and we should have a timer that says we're about 2 minutes from burn. FDAI scale is going to go 5.5. All right, the timer is correct. We're going to arm the engines. This tells the computer that it can fire the engines. Those two are armed. Delta V thrust is norm. Translation hand controller is armed. Rotation hand controllers are armed. Now we have a good countdown, and we're in the correct attitude. Or we think we are. We're on the dark side of the moon, so there's no way of knowing other than to trust the system. I've never played Free Space. Yeah, what are you doing? I got it. Those are already prepped. Man, this is like one of the first times where the messages from Houston are annoying as hell. Just let me... You've put me through all this training, and then on this one it's like dialing the training back and holding your hand a lot more. All right, at 35 seconds, the disk is going to clear. At 30 seconds, it's going to turn back on. We're going to go over and get about a 30-second head start. I'm going to assume this is a no ullage burn, but who knows. All right, tape recorder is going to go forward. It is. Right, EMS mode is going to go normal. It is. Should have been a standby back to normal. Got it. Yeah, no shit, let's hope this ignites. Alright, Diskey's going to blank, come back. At 5 seconds, it's going to say 99, asking me if it wants me to start the engine. I'll click proceed to tell it to start the engine. The engine starts, this is going to ignite, this is going to count down, this is going to show 100%. The valves are going to open, these talkbacks are going to close, and these numbers are going to count down, and we're going to keep them balanced, which they'll probably be balanced. That's the engine start for propulsion system. Coming up on 5 seconds, looking for verb 99, asking for permission. There's 99, proceed, 2, 1, 0, ignition, countdown, 100% on the engine. Valves are open, valves are open. We are burning oxidizer and fuel, and it's currently balanced. We're running program 40, 13 seconds into the burn. This is our Delta V. That doesn't make sense. Oh, it does. I'm just looking at the wrong number there. You can see our orbit is growing into an ellipse. That's good. That ellipse orbit should go all the way out to Earth. I don't know the burn time because they didn't send me the burn data for the pad. So we're just, this one, they're like, all this stuff we taught you how to do, just forget it, click some buttons and hope it works, which is a lot less entertaining. It's telling me 2 minutes and 43 second burn. Well, that would have been nice to have gotten the data on. Oxidizer and fuel are still balanced. If they're not balanced, you can increase or decrease the amount of oxygen that's mixing with the fuel to try to balance it out. Our orbit is expanding out towards Earth. There it goes. Now it's starting to expand a lot more. Because now we're starting to get our orbit not only out of lunar gravity, but it's starting to be affected by Earth gravity, so it's starting to grow substantially. Star Citizen in VR. You tell that to Fifi and he'll finally buy a VR headset. Alright, coming up on shutoff. This is going to turn off. Our delta V's are going to stop. This is going to show 0. The valves that I looked at on the other side are going to close. And we're going to get data. Engine's off. Pretty damn close on this number. Really close on that number. Thrust lights off. Percent is 0. Safety engines. Fuel valves are closed. Helium talkbacks are open. Gimbal position, servo null. They're null. We don't need to do any changes. So we can shut off our pitch and yaw gimbals. THC's neutral. Already done. Thrust vector control, servo power, off. No need for orbital change. Standby, off. Proceed. Here are our null values in X, Y, and Z axis, all 0.1. That's good. Proceed. Computer's off. CNC mode can go to free for now. It says auto or hold. We'll leave it in auto because we're not nulling. I didn't get that, but I want to see it. Let's go verb 16, noun 44. Alright, what else does it want me to do to finish this kind of garbage mission so I can move on? Hey, what's up, Nicole? Yeah, for now, let's complete the checklist and move her to a good attitude for Earthrise. Climb up along the lunar horizon. Really? Are we not in a position right now for Earthrise? Let's go to the moon. Yeah, it wants me in a good position for Earthrise. It's given me some advice on that. Finally, NASA's given me some advice on that. Alright, we're going to go orb rate lunar. And it wants us 300 degrees up, huh? Well, in that case, we need to go free, direct on. We'll do it, it says. We'll pitch to 300 degrees and see if we can watch Earthrise one more time. I'm doing well. How are you, Nicole? This is my, waste time for a minute because I'm anxiously awaiting new computer parts. The last part should be here so I can rebuild. Oh, am I going to get an Earthrise? Am I going to get an Earthrise? It is way too bright in here to see if I'm going to get an Earthrise. So let's dim the lights. Let's turn them all down. I think I see the moon. Because as of right now, the moon should be where there are no stars, and then we have stars. And so what we should be able to do is, at some point, as we come back from the back side of the moon here, start to see the Earth rise over the moon. Oh, dude, final exams are over. Hell yes. That must be nice. I'm seeing stars rise from over it. I'm not sure if I'm seeing the Earth rise yet. I went to the pitch attitude it told me to. So very difficult when the sun is, when I'm in the dark side of the moon, to know what I'm looking for here. It would be cool to see Earthrise. I mean, that was something that they saw that was pretty cool. All right. NASA can hear me again. Mid-course correction and splashdown on the next mission. I can't see the Earth out there. I don't care. We're going to call that one done. That one sucked. I do not play Kerbal. I have played Kerbal, and it's cool. And the math in it is great. But I'm more interested in this because it's like the actual spacecraft systems that the astronauts used in the real checklists, and that just scratches my itch. All right. Under career mode, under Apollo. I have 2 missions left before I move into the lunar module. The next mission, as they just said, was coasting trajectory towards Earth and must do what it takes to have an entry angle of 6.5 degrees. We'll do atmospheric entry after a mid-course correction. I do not know about space engineers. This one's all trying to be historically accurate Mercury, Gemini, Apollo. To include, which this is so badass, there's not multiplayer in this game yet, as far as being in the same spaceship. But there is multiplayer where you can be in the spaceship. Oh, they put a Christmas tree in for Christmas. How nice is that? Where you can be in the spaceship. Let's turn the lights on. And you can have somebody, you can have like up to 10 people in Apollo mission control, and all of the stations are functional. So while somebody's running a mission, you can be have people that are already good on the missions in here running data and helping you through, which would have been really nice on this mission since the game was giving me shit for data. That's badass. I'm very jealous. This is Apollo mission control. And I have been dying to get to Houston with enough time to go to the Space Center because, and I've been there many times I have enough time to go visit, but not to do the behind the scenes tour. The flight times that get me in there are always too late. But This room has been completely restored. I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. Um, and not just restored like it looks like this again, but they restored everything to include all of the computers. So everything is operational and running, and the behind the scenes tour lets you come here and look at it and actually see the no shit Apollo mission control fully restored. This is still pretty damn good considering one guy is building this entire computer game. They also include a fully walkable Saturn V launch pad. It needs better textures, but outside of the textures needing to be finished, it's just the 3D modeling on all of the metal parts just to make this thing accurate is insane. I wish I could climb stairs like this in real life. Oh, not even halfway up. These guys were fucking insane. Pardon my language. The astronauts were in that white piece in the center, sitting on top of that much damn rocket. It's not a great view of it. Yeah, they were in that white capsule, but they were sitting on top of, like, so much damn rocket. It's just insane. That's a good view. The amount of rocket they were on top of, sitting in that capsule. But I'm a super space nerd, so this stuff just... Dude, I eat this shit up. On a level that, like, is probably unhealthy. Oh well. Yeah, space does make me feel existential. I have played Star Citizen, but I'm not a Star Citizen player. And if you're a Star Citizen player, you know what I mean. Fifi is like been addicted to Star Citizen and probably pumped in more money than he knew he has into that game throughout its existence. I've heard it's gotten a lot better with the updates too. I have done the VR version of this, and it's way better than the flat panel version. However, there are things that you need to click on in a menu that doesn't work in VR yet. Going in and doing some of the burns and planning and looking at the orbital trajectories that hasn't been incorporated in VR yet. So just getting in and flipping switches and flying around in it is a treat in VR, but you can't really do the missions. But they have a roadmap here, and they just put out version 1.1, and so they're going to continue to refine all the spacecraft systems, and then when they put out version 1.2, virtual reality will be more implemented, and then they'll finally optimize it. And in addition to Mercury, Gemini, the command module, and the lunar module, they're now in progress working on the space shuttle, and then it will come out in version 1.2, and that'll be a payware add-on, but it'll be a space shuttle that is as in-depth as this. And then, like I said, the historical missions, which I'm trying to get through all the career missions and get really familiar with the spacecraft. The historical missions, the amount of detail added in is insane, and it's like I said, the only Apollo historical mission right now. The space shuttle. It is on their roadmap. They are working on it. They added the Apollo 13 historical mission. So if you go to missions, Apollo historic, Apollo 13, and they do it with other ones. They do it with Gemini and Mercury as well. But they not only have they rebuilt the Apollo 13 mission with all of the errors and all the things you have to do to survive as a historical mission, but they have added in all of the communication, like everything that's been recorded between Apollo 13 and Houston. So as they want you to follow their instructions. They want you to go on their timeline because that keeps it in order. But as you go through and flip switches, you can hear all of the actual comms between Fred Hayes and Jim Lovell and Jack Swigert and the space capsule talking to Houston. So it adds way more immersion. I'll jump in. I'm not going to finish it and fly it, but I'll jump in and you'll see what I mean. It is the amount of work that this guy's put into these historical missions is insane. It is crazy to be able to do it and hear all the real comms. Since it was all fake, well, easy. You just find the script, right? What was it? Stanley Kubrick. You just find his script in his notes, and you rebuild it off of Kubrick's notes. Yeah, I'll just jump in this one for a sec, so you can see the comms. That it blows me away the amount of comms detail they put in. We're preparing for the cockpit for orbit. Let's see how it handles it here. So we're still connected to the S4B, just after getting into space. Let's see what the briefing has to say, so I kind of at least know where to start and get this thing kicked off. Nope, it's just giving me timelines. Wonder if it wants me to do a checklist. Prepare for orbit, huh? We're done ascent.
Apollo 13 Houston, your preliminary orbit down here is 102.5 times 100.3, and everything is looking good.
Roger, Houston, and it looks good to be up here again.
I'll bet.
Let us get started with the post-orbital insertion checklist. So let's see what that says. Post-insertion. I don't see that. Timeline. Insertion. We've got ECS post-insertion. That might be what it's asking me to do. Not really giving me all of the comms I did on the first mission. The first mission, every switch you flip, you're hearing them talk, but I think we need to get further in before this one does it. All right, Hawk. See you, Laserman. I'll be flying tonight a bit too, but only after I rebuild the computer. I've got those parts showing up sometime today. And whenever they get here, ripping the motherboard and chip out and rebuilding. So. Let's get through this checklist just so I can see if they're going to talk to me like they did before. Yeah. I'm not trying to like run this all in depth. I just want to get through to the talkie talk. Oh well, maybe it's not doing a lot of talkie talk on this mission. In any case, yeah, as one person, you do have to shut down the CM while starting up the LEM, which is not easy to do, which is why this needs, it really needs multiplayer, which they're going to work on, I think, at some point. Free play. Lunar module in Earth orbit. We can at least see the LEM. Which is a whole nother monster. Like, I'm just starting to wrap my head around the systems in the command module. Just getting to the point where I can start run computer programs. But I will be flying... if I get the computer rebuilt and working tonight, I'll be on flying just to make sure I can test everything out and see what kind of performance gains I get out of it. So I'm just anxiously, I'm got my phone propped in front of me and I'm just staring at it, waiting for yeah, new chip, new motherboard. So I'm switching from Intel to AMD. New motherboard, DDR5 RAM upgrade from DDR4. On my old motherboard, and an AMD 9950 X3D chip. So I don't want to do the fan flight until I make sure everything's up and running. I think, and I think we've got a few people that are planning on this weekend, like sometime tomorrow. I'll hit them up and find out exactly when. Yeah. Well, I don't want to look at the LEM with the power off. It's no fun. No assigned mission, so I guess I could just go in and start it up, but like... Well, let's at least turn the batteries on. If I remember where they're at... Bat. LMP bat. 2 on. 1 on. 3 on. 4 on. Motor bat on. Commander side. I don't know. Let's turn an inverter on. Yeah, I gotta remember. I haven't done this. I don't know how to turn this one on. That's decent power. None of that shit matters. There's just a battery. Sure, there's circuit breakers for it too. Come on, dumb. I wanted to just jump in and look at it, not... Oh, we're starting to get some power. I don't want to run through a lighting check. I just want to power on. At least we got lights now. So you can kind of see the LEM. All right, well, I will have spares, Kitty. I will be trying to figure out what I'm going to sell them for. I'll have a motherboard, an i9-129K chip, a liquid cooler for the chip, and 64 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. So the only thing needed is somebody to have a case to put all that crap in, and a power supply and a video card. In the meantime, I'm going to bounce off the stream. Thanks for saying hi, everybody. Nice to talk to you, Nicole. But I'm going to go get a few things done and check the front porch and see if maybe computer chip is here. Love y'all. Bye.